believe that some of the best concepts and ideas are not thought up at random. It's not like you can sit around at a table and just brainstorm the perfect idea in the first 5 minutes. Well, maybe sometimes it can happen, but mostly it's about asking the right questions and receiving proper feedback from the company, and it's required to get that feedback to have a successful branding campaign. I encourage deep and intense research into the industry and company before starting the brand design process or even touching the visuals. This gives you data to work with, ideas, and at least a general starting point. Without gathering proper information from your client, you will mostly find yourself guessing what they might like. When you guess, you assume and fill in the blank with improper information. Research can go even further, especially in industries which you may not be entirely familiar with. Knowing what the company's competitors do can help you find those unique approaches to the visual branding that can help you stand out. Also, understanding the unique proposition or unique offering the company has can help you spin your visuals and language to show off that advantage. We're going to go into more detail on this later, but I love to visit or experience what my clients' competitors offer firsthand. For example, our sushi restaurant example we'll work throughout the section, I visited several different sushi restaurants in my local area. This was not to copy or emulate what they do, but to experience their process. In this case, experiencing the sushi consumption process. There are some enjoyable parts of the research phase that could be nice surprises if you allow yourself to be open to those experiences. You should never be expected to come up with an idea from thin air. There's always helpful starting points that can be generated by brainstorming, but most importantly, that research. There are several steps you can follow to gather enough research to start the brainstorming and concept development stage. But first things first, let's get the information we need from the client directly so we can move forward. How the process usually works is one of two different ways. First of all, the client could have already done their homework and provided you with a fully written client brief that details a history of the company, some goals, perhaps a mission statement, maybe some desires and expectations for the brand design and development process. It could answer some of your questions before you even have to ask. That's great, but not all clients have this all figured out yet. There might be some clients that are one-person startups, or they could be the first time they've ever gone through this process. In that case, I like to send them a series of custom-tailored questions that help to fill in any information gaps about the company, the goals, their missions, their desires, and their expectations. Questions will be different for each client. Sometimes you'll start off with some prior knowledge of the company if you already know it or it's already well known, or you may not have any information at all because the company hasn't really gotten off the ground yet. The goal of the questionnaire is to ask questions that help you get familiar with what they offer, why they're different, discover possible target audiences, and any detailed information that's required, like taglines and other unique situations. For example, we need to know if the client does not want us to use the color red. We do not know this if we do not ask. Imagine going through this whole brand design process with intense research to finally find out during the presentation that the CEO hates the color red. And guess what you used? Red. Without gathering this information, we're making a tougher sell for us. There was a great show that streamed on Netflix called The Pitch, and it was about two competing ad agencies pitching their brand concepts to a client that had a long history in the adult beverage industry. The owner told both agencies in the brief to not change the shape of their historic bottle design. It was very important to maintain that history in their package design. Let's just say one of the agencies pitching totally ignored the client's request for that, and they pitched this cool, wonderful-looking advertising campaign and brand refresh, but they totally changed the brand's packaging bottle shape. They went against the one thing the client requested to remain the same, and let's just say they did not get the job and it didn't go well. You got to listen to the clients. It's important, and it's the only way to know what they're looking for is to simply ask. So now that we establish how important it is to get that initial information from the client, let's go to our mock sushi restaurant client that we will work throughout this entire class and ask them a series of general questions so we can go ahead and get started.